I am going to read the book called An Apple for Harriet Tubman by Gillette Tilly Turner, illustrated by Susan Keeter, published in 2006 by Albert Whitman and Company in Morton Grove, Illinois. When you hear this noise, ding, it's time to turn the page. Harriet was born into slavery around the year 1820. Her parents, Ben and Rit Ross, were enslaved on the Brodess Plantation in Maryland. Because their parents were the property of Edward Brodess, Harriet and her brothers and her sisters belonged to him too, the law said. Ding! The slaves had a hard life. They chopped down trees, cleared swamps, tended the tobacco fields, and did all the other jobs on the Brodess Plantation. The slaves didn't get paid and had to do everything their overseers told them to do. Even children had to work. Ding! When Harriet was only 7, Edward Brodess sent her to work for an unkind woman named Miss Susan. One of Harriet's jobs was to sit up all night taking care of Miss Susan's baby so her crying would not wake her mother. If the baby did cry, Miss Susan would whip Harriet. Ding! Later on, Harriet worked in the fields. She liked working outdoors where she could feel the fresh breezes, see the sunshine, and watch the birds fly free. Picking apples was her favorite outdoor job. Whenever she held a shiny, red apple in her hand, she wished, oh how she wished, she could take a big bite out of it. She longed to know if it tasted as good as it looked. She didn't like the fact that she and the other slaves were expected to pick, wash, and polish these luscious-looking apples, but were forbidden to eat any. She didn't think it was fair that slaves did all the work and the family in the big house got to eat the apples. Ding! Each day, as Harriet picked and polished apples, she looked for the chance to crunch into one. One day, when the overseer was walking down to the other end of the orchard, she thought, "This is my chance." Ding! But just as she was biting deep into a delicious apple, the overseer whirled around and caught her. Angrily, he took his whip and lashed Harriet. The whip tore through her clothing and into her flesh. It left scars that lasted the rest of her life. She couldn't fight back or do anything about it then, but she made herself a promise. One day I'm going to be free, and I'm going to have all the apples I want. Ding! Years passed, and Harriet married a free man by the name of John Tubman. In 1849, she learned that she might be sold and sent away from her husband and her sisters and her brothers. Harriet took action. She ran away from the Brodess Plantation. She walked until she reached a safe house, a place where she knew members of the Underground Railroad would help her. The Underground Railroad was not a railroad, but a group of black and white men and women who took great risks to help people escape from slavery. Then through dense forests and chilly swamps, she followed the North Star towards the north and freedom. She was always on a lookout for slave hunters and their bloodhound dogs. Ding! Later, Harriet was hidden in a farm wagon and taken to another safe house. Finally, she reached the Delaware Bay in the state of Delaware. A boatman helped her cross to the New Jersey shore. From there, she made her way to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here in the north, she was free, just as she had promised herself that she would be. Ding! But Harriet was not happy living in freedom while her family was still enslaved. She went to work as a maid and a cook. She saved her money and went back again and again to Maryland to free her family and lead many other people out of slavery. It was extremely dangerous for Harriet to do this. There was a huge reward for her capture. The slaveholders were very angry that she had become an Underground Railroad conductor, guiding other slaves to freedom. But she and her passengers were never caught. Ding! In 1869, Harriet bought a house near Auburn, New York. She planted rows of apple trees along the lane that led from the road to her home. It had taken a long time, but she was finally able to keep the second part of her promise she had made to herself. Ding! Each fall, when the apples were ripe and ready for picking, Harriet Tubman had all the apples she could eat, and she invited the townspeople to come and fill their baskets. Harriet Tubman's apples were a symbol of freedom for everyone to share. That is the end of An Apple for Harriet Tubman. Thank you for listening.